Hello, everyone. I am Fabiola from the TaxDome onboarding team, and I'm excited to welcome you to our TaxDome onboarding webinar series. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Fabiola Garcia. I'm part of the onboarding team here at TaxDome, and I am really excited to introduce you to Leonard Cole. He is from Cole CPA Group, part of our Canada client base that we have. So really excited to welcome you today. So welcome, Leonard. Tell us a little bit about you, your business, and whatever else you want to share with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I've been an accountant for just around 20 years now and started out in the financial services area doing insurance investments as well as tax returns, accounting that. Had the opportunity to sell off part of my business and went full accounting about 5 years ago now,
Oh,
and
wow.
made my way through a whole bunch of different CRM type software, from spreadsheets to other software, and I finally came to one that did everything for me. So that's why I'm here.
Great. I'm really happy that you mentioned that because, TaxDome really is an all-in-one and it allows for you to scale your business even more than before, right? So thank you for sharing that. I do want to mention, by the way, we have Leonard here, but if you want to connect with other firms and other, businesses that work with TaxDome, join the community. TaxDome community is great for you to get best practices and ask each other things. Our team is on there as well, but getting these valuable insights from other firms, just like we're going to get from Leonard today, is really great to do. So join that community if you haven't done so. It's already in your portal. All you have to do is go to the link, and we'll go from there, in keeping that communication open. I want to talk about what we're going to discuss today. Because this session really marks the last part of our webinar series, and we'll explore various facets of mastering your workflow. By the end of this series, really, you'll walk away with a comprehensive understanding of your setup. You should have done that in the previous sessions, right, or webinars. You'll have actionable insights and all the tools that you need to elevate your practice. So if you attend all sessions, right, you should be able to get a certification. If you are watching this on demand, you need to take the quiz to get that certification. Also, if you're watching a live, you will soon get an email with a recording link and also a way for you to get that certification quiz completed. And that way you are, officially certified with the onboarding process. We will talk about really briefly, how do you set up a pipeline, or how do you edit that, right? We already went over that before, but I want to do a quick overview. We'll talk about managing work in TaxDome, how we manage tasks and best practices, advanced workflows, right? In this case, Leonard, is amazing when it comes to doing more advanced things. And even as a beginner, because I actually onboarded him when he came over to TaxDome. So it's great to get his feedback. We'll talk about, his experience, and we'll talk a little bit more about how you test your pipeline toward the end. Right. So let's go ahead and get started. How do we edit a pipeline, and how do we get to a pipeline? And we go to templates, and in templates you will see where you can create a pipeline from scratch, right? This is really easy to do. You'll see a blank kind of pipeline, no title. You add your title, we add our stages that we need, and that's it. This is how easy it is to create your pipeline. Now, we also have talked about the marketplace. The marketplace is where you'll come to download some free templates. One of my favorites is the TaxDome tax return. It's a 1040. So I know that we do have a client base all over the world, actually, right? So I know this is 1040, but you can actually use it just as a baseline. You don't have to call it 1040. It can be, for example, for Canada, T1, it could be T2, right? And I believe here, when you created your pipeline, Leonard, you were able to tailor that according to your needs, right?
Yeah, I did that with both the pipelines and the organizers.
There you
I
go.
I took both from the American and converted it over to Canadian terminology. The process is still the same. It's just the terminology changes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You're still doing kind of like the same general steps, right? But you're
Yes.
absolutely right. There's terminology that's different, verbiage that's different for agreements, and
Yeah.
if you have engagement letters or proposals that need to be signed, obviously that's going to be very, very different.
Yeah, those were specific to Canada and all our wording and laws, but everything else, the questionnaires, the organizers and the steps, it's still, you gather data, you use data, you put it together, you give it back to the client, all that sort of stays the same.
Right, right, exactly. And well, let's take a look. I'm going back to pipelines under templates so I could see all the templates that I have. I'm going to go, I named this one number one just because Taxome organizes this in alphabetical order and like a chronological order. So if you want a specific order, you can number them. Otherwise, they're going to be in alphabetical order, right? So if you need something to be at the top, you want to number it something like this. If you don't care about that, that's fine. Just name it how you'd like. And here I have my pipeline, right? And this pipeline, we are always able to edit it. So when we click on, the actions that are going to happen, in here, for example, I have that proposal, right? I'm just going to choose a template that I worked on very hard to complete. Leonard, be honest with me. When you created templates, did it take you a little while to create the template? Did it take you a short amount of time?
The templates took a while because I had to figure out where I wanted automatic data in.
Right.
Because yes, you have it at the top that this is say for the 2024 tax year, but then part of the wording down further is we're doing a tax return for your December 31st, 2024. So I had to make sure I went through all the different areas to make sure that any relevant personal data was there, so that I could make it I could send out 600 of them and have them correct for each individual person.
Right. And we'll talk about a little bit of, a new CRM feature bringing in, what your client filled out in
Mm-hmm.
the organizer, bringing it into your CRM. Like
Mm-hmm.
if they updated the address, for example, we can quickly bring that over, right?
Yeah.
So, but in this case, I think the hardest part of setting a Taxdome up, it's just working on those templates, like you said, taking the time, making sure that the questions are right, that it belongs to the right group of clients, right?
Yeah.
Whether maybe it's a business that needs to fill out something, or a proposal that needs to be for an individual, whatever it might be, the templates are going to be important to build out, right? So this is a quick example. I have a proposal that's being sent out, right? And this is the one that I want to send out. I do have new clients and returning clients that I want a specific email to be sent out to them. So this is our condition that I have set up on here, right? Remember, conditions will tailor whatever action this is for only this group of clients. So only my new clients will receive this email. Nobody else will. And if they don't have this, they probably won't receive an email unless they have a returning client, right? Tag. So this is already kind of set up for me so that everybody, number one, receives a proposal and receives, this tailored email. So I'm good with this. But what about the organizer? What if I want to send an organizer? Maybe this needs to be to my new clients, because remember, there's a full form that gets filled out that is, I don't know, like 40 pages long maybe, right? And I have returning clients that might only need to fill out a shorter version. So I can actually do that with the tagging system as well. And I'm sure you have, Leonard, use kind of this tagging. So we'll talk about how
Yeah, I use
complex
tags
you
all over
use
my
them.
pipelines.
Oh, beautiful. I love using the logic of tags,
Yeah.
because it just creates so much, I wouldn't say complexity, but it makes it easy for things to get automatically assigned to the group of clients that needs to be assigned to, and you don't need to really worry about that anymore because everything's done for you, right?
Well, it gave me the ability to have both individuals, small business, and corporations all in the same pipeline, but getting the specific things just to them that they required. That way, I only have one place to look for all the work that's active and in that's working. So that way, I don't have to worry about, oh, I forgot to go look at what my corporations or stuff do. Everything that's due is in one pipeline.
Right, exactly. Everything is in one. So just like I'm saying, new clients and returning clients, we'll take a look a little bit later on how Leonard has it set up, because I do want everyone to get that other perspective. Like, how do I do what Leonard's talking about, right? Maybe I want to use that, and you can. So, for example, just as a quick demo here, I want my new clients to fill out that full form, like from scratch. I want their address, I want their whole information. But returning clients, I want this template that I made that I only have a few questions, right? And I only want them to be for returning clients because I already have their information. I just want to make sure that if there's any different changes or updates, like address, things like that, that is updated. And I don't need to ask all of the rigorous questions anymore. If I hit save, I'm sending an organizer in this second stage. And I'm sending a full organizer to my new clients, and I'm sending a customized, more narrowed down version of an organizer with maybe only 15 questions versus like the 30 questions in this one, right? So that's how you can tailor. Just want to, we already talked about this in previous sessions, but I want to refresh you because this is important to understand, right? After you kind of master this, and even if you don't use these, you can have just a single organizer. Creating tasks as well are important to understand, right? These are things that are assigned to you and your team. So we'll talk about this in a second as far as how it's assigned and who it belongs to, making sure that that gets to the right person. So I'm going to hit save. You always want to hit save. I can't reiterate that as much as I would want to, because I've noticed that clients make these amazing changes and they do these great things, but they don't hit save. So hit save, everybody. It's going to save you, a headache if you forgot how to add everything else.
Usually your browser will warn you that you're leaving
That's right.
something unsaved, but not always.
Exactly. Not always. Maybe if you're like, oh, I want to jump somewhere else, I highly suggest you use additional tabs. Open a couple more
Yeah.
tabs on the right, so that you can jump to them. TaxDome's not going to boot you out or anything. You can have multiple sessions within the same browser. So that's a really good practice that I can share with you. All right. So now that we, understand how to add organizers, a proposal, or even just add a task, right? Because we already gone over that. And you learning the basics. It's time to keep an eye on what matters. And, things that matter in a pipeline really are the tasks being assigned to the right person on the team? Do they know what to do? Right? Are your clients getting the right notifications if you're sending an email or you're sending a proposal?